You're watching the ESL stage at PAX Arena, PAX Australia 2018. Brought to you by the following partners.
Tasty. We'll find out how tasty soon.
The bigger the guns, the bigger the boom. Сложно. Ты слаб.
A powerful innovation has arrived, with the speed to go beyond limitation and discover the unreal. Introducing the Samsung NVMe SSD 970 series, the key to unlocking your power, with the performance to reach beyond the expected, the capacity to illuminate a world of ideas, and the reliability to sustain it all. Samsung's latest NVMe M.2 SSD. Unreal performance realized.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ESL stage here at the PAX Arena in PAX 2018, Day 3. It's almost finished, but we're not done here. Ho, 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 no. Ho, 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 no, friends. It is now time for the inaugural Australian Quake Championships. We have 4 of the best teams in the region, and we're going to have them duke it out today for a golden ticket for a single spot at the upcoming Dreamhack Winter in Joppenick, I think it's called, in Sweden. That's coming up December the 3rd. They're playing for a very, very exclusive trip to Dreamhack to compete in the world stage and a shot at $200,000 US playing Quake Champions. Now, if that doesn't tickle your pickle, I don't know what will, boys and girls. Are we ready to get this going? Are we ready to get this tournament underway? You sound relatively ready. Are we ready, PAX? For the Quake Champions 2v2? Let's get it on. Without further ado, casters, please take it away.
Thanks very much, Miles. Yes, it is going to be such a fantastic end to PAX Australia here for the Quake Australian Championships. I've been waiting for this all weekend, and obviously you might not know me if you're a Quake fan, but I want to introduce you to our 2 casters for today. These guys, definitely are going to be some faces you're going to recognize. Phylum, Ronnie, nice to see you guys. Nice to have you on the desk. Welcome.
It's wonderful to be here. Yeah, thank you so much for having us. We're really looking forward to seeing this. The 4 best 2v2 teams in Australia, really, who have proven themselves over, however many weeks of qualifiers here to be here.
The stakes are so high.
It's so big.
And I know, I've spoke to everyone that's playing today, and they are so pumped, and they are so ready to show their best.
Yeah. So, I mean, crucially for this tournament, right, we don't have a big cash prize or anything, okay? We just have glory and a flight to go and prove yourself again on the international stage, right? These guys are all hungry for it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, looking at the format as to how things do play out, obviously, guys, it is going to be a double elim bracket. Now, this is the first time that we've seen a Quake Championship in Australia, so it's kind of a big deal. Like you said, a lot of bragging rights on the line, and as you said, the best of the best are going to be competing for a place and DreamHack Winter. That's the prize pool of $200,000. That's the real prize out of this one. Obviously, you want to get the pride and glory, being the best in Australia, whatever, but you do also want to go overseas and represent your region and have that opportunity to take a bit of that cash out of the bank of maybe some of the international teams.
Exactly.
And actually, our teams don't really have the chance to play with anyone else because we're so far away from everyone from Europe, from North America, where all the majority of good, decent, excellent Quake players are. So it's like they are being molded here to go and show who is the best. Are we good enough? We are good enough.
Well, let's find out. Obviously, today we are going to have a look and see which of these 4 teams is going to make their way through. Now, we've got our bracket here. Guys, talk me through some of these teams because, maybe I think for a lot of the people here, especially at PAX Australia, who are just walking by, they might not know so much about Quake, and particularly the Australian scene.
Yeah,
all right.
So we're up first. For the first match, it would be Cooked eSports versus Avant Gaming. Cooked is the most Black Horse kind of team. They are very good, but very secretive about the preparation stages, and they actually scored the first place in the qualifiers. What do you want to say about Avant?
Well, Avant, they're an org who have picked up a totally new Quake team, and actually, these are our wildcard in from the Melbourne eSports Open, that their second player got sick. So we've actually got a stand-in here for Avant. So this is a completely untested team coming in to play up against one of the top 2v2 teams in Australia.
Yeah, but the sub is really strong as well. So we'll see how they actually adapt and be...
Yeah, no, just because they've got a sub doesn't mean they aren't going to be competitive here. This is still going to be a really good game.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely an exciting time here. Obviously, looking at our first match there, Avant and Cooked eSports. Now, like you guys have said, this one is a bit more of a difficult one to call. Dark horse there for Cooked eSports. These are the 2 rosters. Is there any particular player that you guys are looking for here to kind of step up, have a big game, or is there maybe an interesting storyline coming into this match for somebody?
Well, I mean, definitely ZenAku here, right? He's the guy. So we have 3 top players in Australia, right? It's Dandaking, it's Steej, and it's ZenAku.
The unholy trinity.
Exactly. And when you have 2v2 as a competitive mode,
that's ZenAku.
That's ZenAku. That's the big man. 2v2 as a competitive mode, 3 top players. You have this awkward spot. And ZenAku teaming up with Murder here. This is actually a new org as well, Cooked eSports. They have potential to go a really long way, and I think they have potential today to take down the top dogs here.
And, to answer the question about stepping up, I think Lure, the player for Avant, original player for Avant, who took up the first spot in Melbourne eSports Open recently, is here to show what he's got. And he's quite a recent Quake player, a couple of years, and I know he's pumped and he's hungry for wins. So we're eager to see what he has to show.
So I was talking to you guys a little bit earlier about how these teams have been playing internationally. Now, again, I'm not so in touch with the Quake scene here in Australia. I hear a lot about Corvidae, but as I understand, there are other players that have had some international experience. Any of those guys jumping into this game?
ZenAku certainly did. Yes. What about the others, Father?
Not that I know of, no. Murder's been playing Quake in Australia for a really long time, literally since 1996, but no, he's never gone international with it as far as I know.
Yeah, he lives in Australia's Australia, in Tasmania. It's so far away from Australia.
Not a lot of opportunities.
That's a good way of putting it, but yes, okay. Perhaps time for him then to have a good chance here because obviously, like I said, we're playing for a chance at DreamHack Winter. Let's start to think a little bit more in-depth about this matchup, though. We'll get into the vetoes, the picks and bans, everything like that. So take us through what we're expecting to see maybe out of this matchup. Are there certain champions that you don't want to see? Are there certain maps that you don't want to see? That kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Well, originally, the game is evolving, and we usually see same champions played all over and over again, especially with 2v2s, because some champions are better than the others in terms of how long they can survive in the game. So we know that Wiser, Galena Ranger, and BJ, DK, and Stroke lately were played the most in all of the competitive games. But I'm actually really excited to see if anyone wants to try Athena, the newest champion in Quake Champions today.
Well, and interestingly, in this game, the BJ has been banned here. I'm guessing that's the ban from Cooked Esports onto Avant. I think BJ is a character who really suits both players in the Avant lineup. And Avant are banning out the Clutch here.
Yeah.
Now, the Clutch is a character that ZenAku is the best on in Australia by a mile.
Definitely,
the only person I've seen challenge his Clutch is actually running here
oh,
next to me.
No.
So guys, I just want to point out, Cooked were the ones that got the first ban here. I'm told that Cooked actually banned Clutch there as well, so that's maybe a little bit of a surprise for you.
That is a real surprise. Yeah. I don't know either of those players as being Clutch players.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about the BJ ban because BJ is really strong when he has his ability up, and he's pretty much an instant frag if you use it correctly.
So I didn't know if you guys caught the map picks and bans there. Is that going to play a big part here? Like, how big of a deal actually are the maps when it comes to Quake? Because I know in some other games, a map can literally win or lose you the entire series. Is that the same case here in Quake?
Obviously, teams do have their favorite maps, and I tried asking them, guys, what are your favorite maps? What are your best and where are your worst? Where you're just getting rid of straight away? And they didn't tell me anything, but we're not telling you.
Yeah, well, they want to keep it a secret, right?
Yeah,
they don't want you shouting it out to the world. Hey, these guys, if they go over to Dreamhack Winter, I think they're going to need every advantage that they can get. Like you said, the experience maybe not quite as much there for the Aussie teams, so they want to keep everything in their back pocket.
Yeah,
exactly.
I know, however, one map that Cooked Esports are really good with is Awoken, so I'm very excited to see them play it if they didn't ban it, the other team didn't ban it.
And Awoken actually has some opportunities for some really interesting character picks as well, with Stroke being viable there.
Yeah.
Maybe even Athena.
Maybe.
We're going to keep saying
Fingers crossed.
All right, guys, looks like we're very, very close to getting underway with this first game. I want to know, who's winning this matchup?
I want to say Cooked.
I want to say Cooked.
All right.
At the same time, I'm very excited to see what the Avant team can show.
Is it just because Cooked have that more experienced player on their roster?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess in a 2v2 kind of a situation, one player can actually make such a big difference.
Yes, especially when they have the power-up, though. It will come down to good power-up plays.
All right, here we go into that first game, boys. Avant and Cooked Esports, the first match of Quake Australia Championships. Have a good one with this one.
All right, we're following up Foedanny, who is the substitute, and he's playing Ranger on Blood Run. This is the first map of this series, and he starts with quite a confident frag on ZenAku. So Foe is very good with Ranger and very good with Rocket Launcher as well. So we'll see how they go. We see the teams pretty much congregating around the Rocket Launcher area.
I really like that
Danny
I really love that
every rocket and picks up the Mega Health.
Yeah. So
that's a good start.
What Avant Gaming took advantage of just there, they knew that Cooked wanted to get into that rocket launcher room, and they just staged such a good fight there. But just as quickly as it starts looking good for them, there comes Cooked with some good damage of their own.
Yes, and that's some input from Lure. He's showing his amazing railgun over here, but unfortunately dies to Murder's machine gun.
So early on in these 2v2 games, there's going to be a lot of back and forward as we start to cement control, as people try and, essentially control one item per team, and just make sure that every 2 minutes for these big power-ups that they're going to have something to play with.
Yeah, definitely. So it's already 1:15 in the map. The first power-up quad damage comes at 2 minutes, 2 minutes sharp, and it's a crucial one to begin with because the team who sets up correctly for the power-up and takes advantage of it can score up a lot of frags in the next 30 seconds.
All right, so control of the middle of the map right now to Cooked Esports, and Murder with that tri-bolt. He doesn't have a lot of armor to his name, well, any armor to his name. He's just got to make sure he doesn't take too much damage here in a hurry. And it's going to be Avant set up on the quad, so Cooked pushing into it. The quad's coming up in 10 seconds. ZenAku hoping to hit as much as he can with his nail gun.
ZenAku is pretty weak, but he manages to sneak up with his kill with a shotgun. It's a double kill. No one's left except for Murder, who got the quad and now is on the search to find the players of the opposing team to frag them and score as much as possible.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a good run for Murder.
Some nice LG over there.
I really think, and especially this Mega Health's up here, so he's probably going to catch someone from Avant.
Yeah. Murder is pretty healthy in here. Totems, he's playing Galena, and he just picks the Mega Health to try to score just a couple of maybe 1-2 last frags before quad runs out. And there you go. There's a double from Murder, and they are in the lead with 3 frags.
Well, that's what, a 5 or 6 frag quad run?
Yeah.
It's pretty solid. And when you think we've got a 50 frag limit, we've got a time limit coming down, every frag like that's going to be important.
Yeah, the map is quite small and, you know, like close quarters, and the tribal there is essentially like where you can see ZenAku standing. It's really strong because you can reach out to a lot of areas where players usually go to. Oh, and some kill grenades over there. ZenAku manages to kill 2 of them.
I really like that setup. I think there's actually been some really good coordinated pushes from Avant so far, right? They're thinking well together, which is incredible because, as we were saying, they don't have much experience playing as a team.
Yeah, I think the main focus to be just to try to stick together, and as much as they want to frag their opponents, they also need to focus on not dying, because dying means that you give out the score to your opponent one by one by one.
Yeah, well, and also, you know, Quake's a game, it's a lot about control. It's a lot about making sure you have health and armor. So like Danny right here, Foe right here, he doesn't have much, and he goes down very, very easily.
Yeah.
And so these big power-ups come up. We're going to see ZenAku here collecting a mega health. Yeah. And the pressure from Avant coming down there to make sure that they punish that mega health pickup and make sure that it doesn't get away and can't be used against them.
Yeah, Murder just picked up the red armor, but it wasn't good enough, and he goes down. So the protection is coming up. This is the power-up that takes... that only it only gives you 33% of damage, so you are really strong with it, and you try to
convincing from Cook.
Rush your opponents.
That was convincing from Cook. I mean, this is scary right now for Avant. Like losing 2 power-ups in a row, like that's bad enough, and then like losing a second power-up convincingly. This is going to be a scary margin to come back from. We are going to see this scoreline starting to balloon out.
Yeah, ZenAku's playing kill, and he's exceptionally stacked when it full health. And with protection, he's a real threat. You can see how he's just killing and killing and killing, trying to find everyone he can. Yeah. Now the protection ran out.
Great catch here, and ZenAku, he's going to try and control the middle of the map and make sure that they win this next red armor. Becomes a great push from Avant, though, again, using this grouping up very effectively, staying together and making sure that, yeah, like when they're taking engagements, they're taking them together so that they can come out on top.
Yeah, and so far it's 2. Both power-ups went to Team Cooked, and they have this significant, well, not too significant, but a frag lead of 8. They frags.
Yeah, well, on such a small map, frags can swing back very quickly. You know, all it takes is one good power-up to catch up, maybe 10 frags even, but yeah, you don't want to see them.
All right, we're looking at Murder. Team Cooked is they are really fans of the tribal, especially on this map and on Awoken as well.
Yeah,
they just use it as much as they please and just, you know, covering all the holes with it.
It really suits their style of being kind of calculated.
Oh, that was a bit delayed orb, but he still got some damage out of it.
Yeah, the orb for the Ranger is just so effective at closing distances between your opponents. You know, you can really get in their face very quickly and for free. That's an interesting time to pick up the frag, actually, because ZenAku's going to have time to respawn and get back in. And that's probably going to hurt. Yeah.
Well, and his LG, a bit not enough over there, and he misses that rail, tries the orb, and finally, Team Avant gets their first quad. Foe is just with 2 health left, getting the totem.
That was a phenomenal catch from ZenAku there.
But 1 rocket can finish him straight off. Or 1 grenade, as ZenAku says and does.
You've always got to watch the kill. Just the burst damage. Anytime you try and pick a fight at close range with a kill, you should be taking a 75 damage grenade to the face.
Yeah,
it's a scary time.
All right, last couple of seconds, another shotty to the face. And Cooked is solidifying the lead with 10 frags.
Beautiful work from ZenAku. Just solid, consistent aiming. And this is something I really think we see from ZenAku, you know, time and time again.
Yeah. Oh, there's a grenade under the speed, interesting enough.
Yeah, great fighting. I mean, Danny just gets caught, Foe just gets caught in that 2v1. There's nothing you can do in a lot of these 2v1 situations. It's like the nightmare of a 2v2 player.
And you can see how they're hogging, in a good way, the tribal terrain, like looking over all the map and occasionally visiting the nails to find the opponents hiding. Cooked are really good at, you know, I know that they are planning their games carefully. And last night they were talking a lot about how they position and how they just discuss the movement on the maps, etc., without even playing. Oh, that's a good rail from Danny. And another one, and but he misses that. 25 health left, and he ran out of rail. But
now, an interesting thing about Danny, about Foe, is that you know, even though he has these really solid mechanics and he has these really great fundamental Quake skills, he isn't the best ability player.
Yeah.
The Ranger is a really great character for him to play because of what you can do with positioning, but he isn't the best at hitting these orbs compared to someone like, say, Murder.
Murder is still the top one over there in Australia. I'd love to see him play in range in the first game. We are coming up to our next protection. Cooked eSports, it's 11 frags lead and trying to make their way into this room, but unfortunately ZenAku dies and they set up pretty well over there now.
Just any damage they can get off now, any
Murder
annoyance
actually
they can cause.
manages to run in and steal it, but that was not enough. He was not healthy enough to hold on to it.
That was more of a delaying play, I think.
And he manages to steal the mega health right. No, he actually didn't. Foe took it miraculously. And now Foe is running around the map trying to find the opponent. Fights with protection are usually take more time than fights with the quad because both teams are kind of taking their time to damage their opponent, whereas with quad either kill or be killed, stomp or be stomped. So
it's so hard, right? You have to do 3 times the damage in a normal fight to make a fight worth taking against the protection, right? It's a tall order, and usually you just see teams really playing it passive and really trying to disappear against the power-ups.
Foedanny right on the Murder's feet. Nice deadly slip get over there.
He baited him into it. He set up the trap.
Look at the scores, Phylum. It's just 6 frags difference right now. That's what the protection does.
Well, yeah, I mean, the 2 power-ups in a row that have been much better for Avant, and that's brought us right back.
Yeah, I remind we're playing up until 50 frags of 15 minutes of game time. So it's just 13 frags left for Cooked eSports to take down the first map. We'll see.
Murder just bashed his shins on a totem there. He definitely saw that one too, so he's going to be feeling a bit silly for that.
All right. ZenAku looking for prey. No one's there.
Yeah, he knows he's got a good advantage.
He actually heard the jump pad, but someone, Galena, decided not to go.
No, he knows that kind of back area of the map is perfect for kill because...
Look at his stack. Look at his stack. 100 to 200, and it's next squad coming up.
And this super nail gun, right? He can just sit back and spam this.
But he's eating all the rockets from Danny.
I think it's okay. I think they've done enough damage that even if Avant gets the quad...
Well, Murder had enough damage on him as well, and he's just left 1 by 1, and Foe finishes it with the LG. But ZenAku, again, responds on time.
Yeah, this is a scrappy quad setup.
The last fight before the power-up. ZenAku 29 health, 11, 2-0, got it. No. Murder says no and picks up the crumbs from his partner. And
and now, I mean, look, Cook getting up to this 40 frag limit, you know, like 45 frags out of 50. When you have teams of this caliber and teams who can aim this well, there's just a certain rate at which they get frags. It's so hard to slow a game down so much where you still get points and don't give away, you know, at least 5 frags, right? This is getting to the point where Avant had to do something really special to bring it back.
Yeah, and every frag counts now for Cook though, so the enemy team will try to hide.
Yeah, now look, and I think like it really shows in that cool-ass quad setup, right? Both teams were so desperate because they knew. Cooked knew they could close the map out if they got it, and Avant knew that they had to stop that quad run, and unfortunately they weren't able to.
Yeah, so Cooked dominated the power-ups of this map. What's the score? 3-1 currently? 4-1?
3-2. 3-2.
Yeah, 3-2 actually. Yeah. Oh, and one more totem. No. He didn't.
Murder just can't quite hit the OG there. And yeah, Danny, good movement, good connections of his own. Danny, as I was saying, a very solid mechanical player.
40 to 47, ZenAku snatches that crucial frag. Just 2 more.
Oh, this would be massive if Lua can get this.
Good.
He's supported by Danny. One more. Oh.
One grenade.
It's the orb.
Not just yet. And there we go. The direct hit from Murder finishes it up.
That was well done.
Well done.
I Cooked eSports, they deserved that win. They played the map consistently better, but coming into those final moments, like Avant put up a great fight. They didn't just roll over and let that map go. They wanted to make sure they pushed that down to the final moments.
Yeah, that was amazing. I love the game.
Yeah, definitely a good start for Cook. They were able to take that first map. Now, to me, again, a fairly uninformed viewer when it comes to Quake. It did feel like Avant was kind of challenging there, but then you guys start talking about those power-ups. Really sort of seemed like Cook was kind of dictating the gameplay based on the power-ups. And is that really where the majority of the strategy kind of comes from for Quake?
The thing about power-ups is just how you train and practice your setups there, and how you communicate how simultaneously you actually advance to the power-ups. And I know that Cooked are more experienced and just, you know, they're more practiced. They play together way more than Lure and Foedanny, so probably that decided.
There wasn't that much in that match though, you know, like only, I think it was 7 frags the difference, 50 to 43 in the end is where I think it ended up. So it sort of felt like Avant, you know, like you said, they were sort of coming back into that. I don't think they're necessarily out of the running just yet. I know you guys are sort of both thinking that Cook probably should win this matchup, but does that give you a little bit more faith in Avant that they can maybe make this through to the third map?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they had a really good showing there. You know, we saw just about what we were expecting from Foe, that he had fantastic combat, and he worked really well to support Lure. Like, they were working as a team, which was really the big question coming into this game. Would they be able to pull that off?
Yeah, and it's always too great to see, even if they didn't play together much, they still know each other players' styles, and just at least they talked about the game, and they're both very skilled players, individual players. So I'm really thrilled to see how they're going to do throughout the next maps.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, looking at this matchup, I think for people that, you know, just don't really know that much about Quake, it kind of just looks like people running around, people shooting people. You're like, on the surface, I think Quake is a game that looks very basic and easy to understand, but you don't really necessarily understand the positioning, the movements, the item timing, and that kind of stuff out here from these guys. So really, when it comes to Avant in that fragging department, they were kind of going toe for toe, but it was the positioning and the strategy and that was sort of letting them down. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say there were a few things just, yeah, in how they position themselves and how they let themselves get picked out in 2v1s.
If you want to be good at Quake, you have to be good at your aim, at your movement, your angles, and you pick up timings. There's a lot to this game that you can actually find in, you know, just your simple deathmatch.
If you dig deeper in, then yes, definitely you can understand that kind of stuff. But I think the beauty of a game like Quake really is that sort of anyone can kind of understand what's going on. You see the frags at the top, you go, okay, they need to get to 50. They're at 47 now. This is getting close to a win right now for Cook.
Yes.
So it's great for a place like this at PAX where there's just going to be people walking by to be able to come and watch a game like this because it's so easy to sit down and understand what's going on.
Yeah, it's wonderful, yeah. Like, easy to learn and hard to master. It's the definition of that.
Well, that's the dream, right, when it comes to an esport. I would love to see a lot more Quake, to be honest, because even despite the fact that I haven't played much Quake in the past, I think it is a game that pretty much everyone is familiar with. You go back, you know, back in the day, 10 years ago, you ask anyone, everyone knows what Quake is. And I think that's the same here. So hopefully, this is going to be a time where Quake is going to be on a bit of a showcase, and we're going to be able to show some of the best players, and that's really going to draw some people in.
Definitely, yeah. And I see a lot of people in the audience actually cheering for people, and yeah, I'm sure they understand what's going on. Hopefully we're doing a good job.
Yeah. All right, so let's start to think about our second map here, guys. Obviously, that first one, fairly close. But what are we looking at here? You know, are we expecting to see some different champion bans? Are we expecting to see the same champions? Is that going to be a factor?
Champion bans are all set
right
at the beginning of the actual two teams playing together. So it's BJ and Clutch staying up until they finish, and whoever wins.
Yeah. So you can ban the two champions. Do you get to change picks?
You can change picks, but you ban just two champions, and you follow through with that ban throughout your actual.
So in that case, are we expecting to see a change of champion choices here?
It depends on the map. What's the actual map? Can we bring up the
picks and bans again?
Yeah, I would have to have a look at it again, but I can't say off the top of my head.
It is very map dependent. I think, like the Kiel, we are unlikely to see
in the open maps.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's Corrupted Keep.
Oh, it's Corrupted Keep.
So Kiel is definitely on the cards.
Kiel's so is strong actually. Corrupted Keep is a small map as well, and also the main thing about it, it has no railgun. So the main weapon here is lightning gun. And you have to control the area where it is really well because it's kind of like away from everything. And if you're looking at it, you have no place to go. So we're on. And we're looking, and again, we're starting with Foe, yes.
This is like straight away this massive fight of the rocket launcher. Teams want that rocket launcher. It's so important to controlling the middle of the map.
Someone flying, but they didn't fall out of the map. So this is the lightning gun area, and whichever team controls more and controls the power usually wins.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw some great dodging there from Lure, like moving out of the way of the nail gun spam coming in from Murder.
Again, and in the absence of a good hit scan weapon as rail, the shotgun on the super shotgun, particularly on this map, is really, really powerful. Also because this map is really small and you kind of turn around corners and meet your opponent straight away. So LG and shotgun is really strong.
Yeah, and the heavy machine gun as well for controlling that mid-map. It's like the railgun substitute.
Just a welcome surprise for ZenAku from Foedanny. Nice grenades over there. And he picks up the Mega straight away. Chased by Murder, but Lure is there to help him out.
Yeah. Now we do see the kill picked again here, but on Danny this time. Yeah. And if he can land these grenades, I haven't seen him play much kill, but if he's connecting with these grenades, on this map, you get so many opportunities to take close fights.
Yeah, Kill gets 5 grenades as his ability, and he eventually spends them, and he can replenish them by picking up time shot. Oh, that nice Sharp Slayer from Murder. Well done.
This is why Murder is the
He
king of
is
all.
the best ranger, yeah.
Yeah, and we have ZenAku here on the Death Knight, who has a very powerful Flame Strike. Just basically a bit of a delete button. He can obliterate an opponent if he lands the fireballs.
Not as much of a delete button lately, because his ability was the numbers were a bit reduced, but yes, he still managed to mow down Lure, and we'll see who's gonna pick up the first power up.
Oh, it looks like Avant.
A grenade, another grenade again.
Yeah.
Yes, well done by Foe. That is the skill.
They were positioned in a really smart way for that.
Now he's gonna stack up really quickly and try to find his opponents. There's a mega for you by Lure.
Yeah, and that's great communication, you know, leaving up those items.
Did you see that?
Beautiful.
Beautiful grenade and some LG to follow up. ZenAku tries to finish him off with this shotgun, but he has way too much health.
Yeah, and I mean, this shotgun with the quad, you're landing like 200, 300 damage on long, medium range shots.
No one really can sustain it unless you fully stack clutch or kill. Oh, some good LG over there, but he's left burning down there. Hopefully there's no totem to meet him at LG.
That's it, that's another scary thing, and that's Avant actually with a big advantage here with the Galena. You can put these totems down on the teleporter exits, make it unwise for your opponents to go through them.
Yeah, Lure just took the mega health right from under Foedanny's feet, and they didn't communicate it well enough that he was low in health, but then he died. We're on to ZenAku and running out of LG, and Foe still fat, still kill, and still landing those grenades. And Murder, another Sharp Slayer over there, well done.
Yeah, so I mean, right now this game is just too close to cool, right? We have the 5 frag difference, but this is a much faster and much more aggressive map than Blood Run in a lot of ways.
Oh, there we go, another evidence of kill stack advantage.
Yeah, and I mean, Avant, they have got the lead here, and this is the first time we've seen them in the lead. Hopefully they can keep it up. Hopefully they can put on a really good show for us here on this map. 20 seconds out of the next power up. This mega health is going to be really important. Whoever can win it.
Is it going to go to the stacked kill or not? Are they gonna secure one more power up? Nice.
Well, we can just see some great communication there as well from ZenAku and Murder. Just like, you know, falling back together, making sure they were sticking together and staying alive so they had guns to challenge this
nice
power
be
up.
there by Lure, and they will be picking up the protection. Lure is fully stacked. We'll see how he goes. There's some tribal welcomes over there. He knows where they are trying to. And Murder!
That's what you've always got to watch for. You've always got to watch that orb with the power up. If you get perforated by the orb, they get the power up.
Yeah. Okay, now it's flipped and Murder is on the surge.
And this is why having a strong orb like Murder.
There's some bubble in your face, Murder. Will you be able to survive? No, the gang. Bang! There you go.
All right, ZenAku with a swap here actually onto the kill, and I think this is wise. I think they're just getting dominated by the kill damage. Maybe underestimating how much Foe could actually hit with it here.
Yeah. It's a bit of a quiet. ZenAku's contesting the Mega, was pushed away, and didn't really cause too much damage for him because he managed to pick that Mega up.
Yeah, and I mean, look, interestingly, right, ZenAku swaps onto this kill, and the scores are coming right back together.
Yeah, team is clearly stuck into the heavy armor, but just a bit an early pop from Murder. He didn't do another Sharp Slayer.
And that can be a big problem with the orb, right? If you're trying to get those close range facial orbs and you miss them, it leaves you, right in the middle of harm's way.
Yeah. Lure trying to see his hand a bit shaking, but he manages to finish Murder up.
I know Lure was saying he was hoping to hit 80% LG today.
80?
80%.
80 where? In a deathmatch?
No, in these games, he's going to hit 80% LG. That's what he told me.
That looks like it, actually.
Yeah, he's hitting incredibly well.
Yeah. All right, and we're on to our next quarter in 15 seconds.
Yep, again, we've got this Mega just before the quad. The heavy armor's probably going to be a little bit too close to it to be of too much use.
Yeah, but the Mega is still there. Maybe someone will pick it up. No one seems to be interested, actually.
Yeah, Danny and Lure go for the hunt and go for the fight.
4 seconds, Danny is so weak, but Lure's probably taking them up, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Murder with another great orb.
They lost too much stack before that power up. I think Avant making the decision to push out there, leaving that Mega up behind them.
And I think this will be the case where Cooked eSports will lead in this game. Because Murder is feeling quite well and just looking for everyone. Anyone.
Yeah. Now, yeah, just a few more frags here, I think. Anything
Yeah,
you can
and he
find.
actually managed to pick up Heavy.
Yeah.
Some tribal shots over there, trying to chase Danny down. Will he make it? One more Murder. Whoa, that was a interesting choice of weapon, trying to mid-air with Tribal instead of Rocket. I'm not sure.
Look, it looks really impressive when you get it off, okay? I'm sure that's all that's going through Murder's mind there.
Some treble and then another orb from Murder.
Great team fighting.
He's embracing the Ranger abilities as much as he can.
Ooh. Nice damage from Lure there, making sure he doesn't get bullied out too much. Murder. Usually Murder would be able to comfortably take that fight, but Foe played that so smart.
Yeah,
and just made Murder work for it.
He laid some some balls to still deny that Heavy. Oh, there's some high top advantage from ZenAku. Some grenade. Try grenade exchange. No, nothing hit. He's gonna try to pull up and gets met by both of the team members. And Murder does another shop slay. It's like 5th in this game already, or the 6th one. He's on.
Well, when you think there's only a 7 frag margin here, and you think about how many of those orbs Murder's got, you know, that's getting just about the most out of that ability as he can.
He has it up and ready again.
Yeah, making sure he collects those timers, keeping that respawn time nice and low.
All right, we have the protection, and this is gonna be a critical one for Team Avant, because if they pick it up, they will manage to equalize it. If not, I'm afraid this will look pretty dire for them. ZenAku just perfectly blocks that pathway with his grenades and LG and lets Murder pick up the protection. Look, it looks pretty dire.
That is why ZenAku swapped onto the kill. That's why it's so good. And that's what they were missing for the first half of this game. That was a beautiful swap.
Some nice LG. I'm not afraid of you. He's picking up heavy ammo, ready for some more blood. Yeah, will he? Oh,
and that's such a critical power-up, right? That 8-minute power-up, usually you're getting up to this kind of frag margin on here, and whoever gets it can be that person to just push themselves again into the danger zone where they're only a few frags out from winning.
Oh, some nice direct, but will it be enough? No, for
phenomenal aiming from both players there.
Yes, definitely. So it's 34 to 44 already. And is it doable, Phylum, you think?
It's possible. Okay, they have to make sure they never give anything up. You only pick good 2v2s, or 2v1s even. But yeah, I mean, trickling in for 1v1 fights like this is not how they're going to pull this back. They've got to start playing so smart right now. There's no room for error.
And it's hard to actually, you know, regroup and regain some advantage on this map because it's so small.
Yeah, they're going to be relentless in their pushing here. And like, yeah, Cooked have figured out, they've done a little bit of damage there. They've worn down their stack a bit, and they go fully in. They commit.
There's no way to hide. Yeah.
That's it. This is a great position here for ZenAku, potentially. Lure plays that really smart to get the frag in return.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, 2 frags in it, though.
Yeah, Cook team will be just looking for those. Just the exchange and like...
Nice aim from Danny to make sure he doesn't get picked
nice
up there.
bolts over there.
All right.
Just 2 frags to go.
Yeah, Avant, they're holding on to this as long as they can. Again, they're not just going to roll over and accept that they've lost. They're going to make this as much of a stand as they can. Oh, but that's the 2v1
and
pick.
just one more, and Lure is left.
Yeah,
Lure is left alone at the rocket launch.
With
this
Quad
will
coming,
be it.
Avant have to decide. Either they commit or, yeah.
Well done.
There it is. Great
well
play
done
from
to
Cook.
eSports too for advancing into the next stage.
Yeah, so our first best of 3 done and dusted. Pretty straightforward in the end there for Cooked eSports. 41 was what Avant managed at the end of that second map. So a little bit more, quote-unquote, one-sided. Though, to be fair, I think it's quite unfair to say that that was a one-sided match. Even though it was a 2-0, Avant were kind of sticking in that. And actually, at the start of that map, Avant were in the lead. But you've got to say, Cooked again, they've just managed to come back straight into it.
That's it. I mean, Cooked they figured out what Avant were doing, and they adapted in the perfect way.
Yeah.
So when you say adapt, that means that they've changed up their champion selections?
They changed up the champion, and they changed how they were approaching it, right? Like, they made sure they were... They approached it by changing the champion, but essentially they just made sure that in close range fights, they were matching the burst damage.
Yeah, like I think the crucial thing, again, Corrupted Keep is a really small map and really, at the same time, open map. Like, there's a lot of open spots, and there were... First of all, Murder's orbs were really crucial hits every time. He just managed to steal that first protection. And ZenAku's play in the last protection where he blocked off the pathway with the grenades kind of sealed it for Team Avant.
Definitely good stuff from Cook. Now, that is the expected result, though, guys?
Of course, yeah.
Of course, but again, very well done to Avant. They showed, I think, their best, definitely best. Like, I saw Lure's LG, I saw Foe's LG and rockets and grenades from his skill, which were really surprising for me.
Well, I mean, exactly. That's what you want to be seeing.
That's the murder.
Yeah, you were talking a lot about Murder, and that was someone that we didn't really mention as much in the pre-show.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Murder, he's a fantastic player with a massive history in Quake. You know, he started playing Quake when he was 10 years old.
Right.
And he just has this natural ability for Quake. He just understands the game really intuitively. He's an aggressive player. He's a rocket player. He's exciting to watch because he's just explosive.
I love that you can say something like, this guy started playing Quake when he was 10 years old.
Yeah, we didn't know him back then. But he already embraced the orb back then, I think, because orb is his favorite weapon, and he again showed how good he is with this.
Yeah, definitely something we'll have to keep an eye on as this bracket does progress. But like you guys mentioned, Cooked are through to the next round. Now, obviously, this is a 4-team event, double elim. That does mean Avant are not out yet. They're going to drop down into that lower bracket, but now they're facing elimination in their next match.
That's it. I feel sorry for whoever has to play them, though, because that was a pretty solid performance from them.
Yeah. So we'll see what the next result will be. We're moving on to our next match soon, but Avant are definitely warmed up enough to show their best.
You guys definitely still kind of riding on the hype train of Avant, but definitely we've got to be talking a little bit about Cooked here. I mean, is that like the best performance we've seen, or are they not ready to peak just yet? Are they waiting for later on in the tournament? Because, to be honest, guys, I think if you're going to peak at any tournament that has ever occurred in Quake in Australia, probably you would want it to be this one.
The performance-wise, they did best individually, especially Team Avant. I'm not talking about Zen and Murder, who are really at their level, definitely. Will they be able to compose themselves and be better as a team in the next coming game when they're playing? That's the question.
That is a big question, exactly. So, going through the bracket, it is going to get more and more difficult as you progress on forward here as Cooked. In theory, this probably should have been your easiest game. So we need to see maybe a little bit more from Cooked in that upper bracket final. 43, 41 is where Avant managed in those two maps. Like, that's a fairly close result. Is that like fairly close, or is that kind of standard?
No, that's definitely close, and that's definitely the kind of margin where, 1 or 2 power-ups going your way could mean you win the map.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone knows the maps well, everyone knows how to handle their weapons, so I'm glad to see the games are this close, so it's exciting to see what's going to come out of it.
Awesome. Good way to start things off here then at the Quake Australian Championship. That's our first match done and dusted, though, so we're going to jump down onto the stage now. It's an interview with Cooked.
Thank you very much, boys. That's right. I've got ZenAku and Murder here from Cooked. Fellas, firstly, congratulations. I suppose we'll start with you, Murder. How'd that one go? Because obviously you had the lead in the first map, things were looking good. Can you talk us through what happened in that one? And you managed to maintain that first lead. You never let it go once. What was really going on there?
I think we've really sort of spent a lot of time on understanding how each other plays. So we can sort of back off a little bit with the communication and sort of more or less understand what each other's going to do. But playing the game on LAN, it's a whole new experience altogether. So, obviously the nerves were there a little bit shaky, but we're here to support one another. So that's where I guess our advantage comes from. That we understand that we can both make mistakes.
Sounds like a very healthy relationship between the two of you. Good on you, boys. Right, let's talk a little bit about map number 2 now. We saw a champion change. So, Avant had the lead for a while. Big change came through. The commentators talked about it enough. But ZenAku, tell us what was going through your mind, and how did that champion change really turn the match for you guys?
I guess because we realized pretty quickly that Danny made the pick to kill, and we had a particular setup that really worked against things that we thought we'd play, and we never really played against that kind of style. So as soon as we noticed they were dominating to us, we just switched to that, and obviously it worked out really well. So that's why we did that.
It did work out very well indeed. Now, you got another match coming up a bit later, but you have a bit of time to rest, put your feet up, enjoy the show for a while. Are you both going to be looking at the opposition? Are you going to be looking for any weaknesses, anything you can exploit coming up here, or are you going to just enjoy the show?
I think the thing we've got to be most aware of is our own weaknesses as opposed to theirs. You've got to try and find that middle ground where you can take advantage of theirs, but also you've got to try and defend yours. So it's the next few games are going to be, in my opinion, they can go either way. So.
Looking forward to it. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. You can take a seat now. You can enjoy yourselves for a moment. We're going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, we've got more Quake Champions 2v2 action here at the ESL stage. Don't go anywhere.
Maybe 1-2 last frags before quad runs out. And
There's a double from Murder and try to stick together. And as much as they want to frag their opponents, they also need to focus on not dying. Because dying means that you give out the score to your opponent one by one. As ZenAku says and does.
You've always got to watch the kill. So just the burst damage, anytime you try and kick a fighter,
over there now.
Just any damage they can get off now, any
Murder
annoyance
actually
they cause.
manages to run in and steal it, but that was not...
Passive, but really trying to disappear against the power.
Foedanny right on the Murder. 2-0, got it! No. Murder says no and picks it up from...
3-2.
Yeah, 3-2 actually, yeah. Oh, and one more. Totem, no. He didn't see that. Beautiful grenade and some LG to follow up. ZenAku tries to finish him off with this shotgun, but died. We're on to ZenAku and running out of LG and Foe.
Back together, making sure they were sticking together, staying alive so they have guns to challenge.
Oh, nicely there by Lure, and they will be picking up
for the kill, and I think this is wise. I think they're just getting dominated by the kill damage. Maybe underestimating how much Foe could actually...
Lure trying to squeeze, can be shaking, but he manages to get there. Maybe someone will pick it up. No, no one seems to be interested actually.
Interested? Yeah, Danny and Lure go for the hunt and go for the fight.
4 seconds, Danny is so weak, but Lure's probably taking them up, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be enough. I'm not sure if it's a critical one for Team Avant, because if they pick it up, they will manage to equalize it. If not, I'm afraid this will look pretty dire for them. ZenAku just perfectly
blocked. That's why ZenAku swapped onto the kill. That's why it's so good. And that's what they were missing for the first half of this game. That was a beautiful swap.
Some nice LG. I'm not afraid.
Phenomenal aiming from both players there.
Yes, definitely. So it's 34-44 already. And is it doable, Phylum?
You're watching the ESL stage at PAX Arena, PAX Australia 2018. Brought to you by the following partners.
Many come to make the challenge, but not all can become masters. A master must be faster than anyone. Can't be shaken in any situation. And must be prepared to deal with anything. Here comes the new master of SSD. The most advanced SSD for faster computing. Samsung SSD 860 Pro and 860 EVO.
From the ashes, I will rise again. Suffer and die! Yes. Suffering is only the beginning.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Quake Australian Championship. We are live from PAX Australia. Our first match done and dusted. That's Cooked eSports getting the 2-0, progressing on forward. But now we have a couple more teams, guys, that are going to be playing off for a place in that upper bracket final. Of course, got to welcome you guys back to the desk. Good to have you here. Good to have some Quake analysis and expertise to help me out. Now we're looking at our next matchup here. Corvidae, contents per minute, or CPM as you guys like to call them. This is maybe another matchup where we're looking at a favoured team going up against a bit of an underdog.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Corvidae are the strongest 2v2 team in Australia, and they have been since their inception. They've competed internationally, and they've just dominated the scene, really.
Yeah, and CPM is quite a newer team here on international, not international, but Australian Quake Arena.
I guess in theory they're also new internationally speaking.
I surely hope so, yes. But the story of them is quite exciting because these are so different players in the story. So we have Python, who has been there since the beginning of the Quake itself.
Python is like
the Python.
The Python of vanilla Quake 3 style gameplay. He's been a top player in that style of game since like the early 2000s, internationally and in Australia.
Yes, and now we have the
SpudHunter. Now we have the SpudHunter. I mean, the SpudHunter, he started as just some guy yelling into a microphone online. I was like, just some guy in a mask. And then he came to an event in April, and I mean, Ronnie was there with me, and we were like, whoa, this guy can actually play.
Yeah, he can actually aim.
Good.
All right, guys. Now, obviously, looking at this,
there he is.
This is a little bit not what you might expect when you're looking at a pro player. Tell me what's going on here.
Look, this is the SpudHunter, okay? His thing is, he hunts down the genetically modified gamers, the GMGs, but now he's on the other side of the desk. He's become a GMG.
Yeah. Will he become a GMG today and qualify?
And prove himself against the actual top dogs, yeah.
Well, we're going to find out, and it's going to start here in this next match. Now, let's start thinking about the picks and bans, guys. Obviously, we saw that already between Avant and Cook, but for Corvidae and CPM, what are we expecting to see here?
It depends on the map. I know Spud's favorite champion is Doom, but I am not expecting him to play it at all.
Is that a possible ban away, maybe?
No, I don't think anyone will ban him because Doom is not as strong as the other champions in the current game situation.
I think if they do bans, they're going to ban away from Python rather than Spud. They're much more scared of Python than Spud in this matchup.
Yeah, definitely. Who do you think it's going to be?
To be banned?
Yeah.
Well, the thing with Python is I don't really know what he plays. He has a much lower game time than any of these other guys here.
Yeah, let's have a look, actually.
Yeah.
Ranger was banned and Visor was banned. I would expect, I wonder who banned Ranger. We are playing Blood Covenant and again Corrupted Keep, and if it comes down to it, the Molten Falls. So we have Visor Ranger out, so probably we will be seeing like Blood Covenant, for example. What do you think?
It'll be interesting. And so the thing with Python is, like I said, he's a bit of a wild card with what he could pick. He has a lot of weird stuff he could bring out. Getting rid of Ranger and Visor just means, two of the most on-meta champions here. So it opens up the picks in a really major way.
Actually, it's Corvidae who banned Ranger against both Spud and Python, and they're both very good at it, at playing Ranger. So we'll start with Blood Covenant, and this is quite a big map. It's a really big map, and it has to be controlled pretty well.
So it's going to be a little bit of a different play style, maybe to what we're used to after having seen Avant and Cook, because like you guys were saying, that was a little bit more of a smaller map.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, and here we're going to see the railgun, and like especially from Corvidae, two really massive railgun players. That's going to be the driving force of this game, I think. The Corvidae railgun and how CPM can respond.
How's that going to affect things? Like, is that going to slow down the play a little bit? Because in those smaller matches, or those smaller maps, one would assume it's more likely that you're going to just run into each other more often, so there's going to be more fights.
That's correct. But on the other thing, Corvidae are really, really good and proficient with the movement, even around the big maps. And they know exactly, they are very precise, and they are very aggressive and fast-paced, so they will push CPM to their limits.
All right, who have you guys got for this one? I know we've talked about Corvidae a lot, but is there a reason for that? Are they probably going to get a 2-0 here, or, am I maybe favouring the favoured team a little bit too much?
I don't think so, no. I don't.
Look, if Corvidae have, like, a crux in this game, it's going to be their confidence. They're going to think everything's just going to go their way perfectly, and if it starts to not go like that, I don't know how they're going to respond.
So, like, is maybe a tilt then a factor? Like, let's say they lose this first map. Is that a big problem then for Corvidae?
Absolutely.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I know Steej flew in last night at midnight, so he might not be as rested as the other players are.
I mean, it is almost 3 p.m., so in theory he should have had a lot of time to sleep.
Yeah, but he didn't.
Depends on what it... Yeah, okay.
We
Maybe
spoke
you
to
know
him
more
at
than
10
I
a.m.,
do.
yeah.
Anyway, here we go into map number 1, guys. It's Corvidae. It's contents per minute. They're playing off for a spot against Avant Gaming in that upper bracket final. Let's go.
And look, we saw Dandaking there got the spawn where he gets the railgun. That's perfect for Dan. He has an absolute beast of a railgun. Steej here on the BJ as well. Look, the BJ, the damage that Steej can put out on the BJ is phenomenal.
I'm actually very surprised to see Steej playing BJ and Dan playing Galena, not vice versa, because Galena is Steej's favorite champion overall in Quake stats.
I would say, yeah, it's his #1 play champion. I would say that Steej is the best Galena player in Australia, so yeah, very odd pick.
So what we're going to see from Team Corvidae here as they play, they will try to stick around this catwalk and railgun area and try to pick up their opponents. So one of them will be railing and one of them will be finishing them off, just as Steej does right now.
And that's why you want to control the railgun right there. Steej is able to pick that fight in a place where it can't be returned onto him. Uses that ability beautifully to just get a nice clean frag there. And yeah, I mean, this is a Corvidae map through and through.
Yeah, this is a Corvidae map, definitely. And they will be, again, pressing Team CPM to off their spawns, not giving them any weapons, especially not giving them the railgun, because both Python especially, and SpudHunter are really good at railgun as well. But it's somewhat kind of not easily accessible on this map. You have to go ways to get it.
You can see games where teams can go minutes of just denying the railgun from their opponents. And yeah, that's definitely the approach that Corvidae should have here. That's how they're going to hold on to this and win this in a really, really secure way.
Yep. Now we can see Dan trying to survive with his totems and finish off the SpudHunter. It's 7-1 currently, and we are moving close to our power-up. There's going to be a great fight on the heavy armor. Python loses it, unfortunately. Galena, played by Dan, is really strong to pick up that power-up. We'll see. No one is there yet. Now they're meeting up. Oh, some nice LG from Spud, and he picks it up. Manages to kill Galena, and he's on the run, but not too healthy.
This is it. This is the dream run
They will
for
be
Spud
pressing
right now.
onto him straight away. Spud picks up the Mega. We'll see if anyone does.
This is a chance for CPM to get into the map.
Yeah, we'll see if anyone got rail yet. Probably not. Oh, there's some double machine gun from the... Yeah, double machine gun from Steej, and Dan picks up the quad and starts running.
Unfortunately, they couldn't do more with that quad. I really think Corvidae, again, I think this is kind of what I was saying with their confidence, right? They left that to the very last minute to rush in there. They thought they could just rush in and get the damage, but actually there was a setup there from CPM.
Yeah, Spud was really good with that LG, but he wasn't too healthy against that double dual wheel from BJ. We see Dan neutralizing that rival beautifully, and Steej helping him out, finishing them off to 10 frag lead, 13-3 currently. It is a Corvidae map. We'll see how CPM can recover from that, if at all.
Yeah, I mean, they could really try and slow this down here and just make sure they aren't giving frags away. And that would probably be the best course of action at this point when you're looking at this kind of margin. If you continue to play this fast, you know, even if you increase the rate at which you get frags, you're going to be looking at a pretty scary frag cap coming up very, very shortly.
I'm actually surprised that Python playing the Doom guy here. Well, not even Spud, but Spud is playing his Galena.
Yeah, I mean, Spud's famous for playing his Doom guy in the world of Australian Quake.
I'm pretty sure they decided to pick it to really try to jump from bridge to rail and pick up that rail, because Python is ridiculously good with rail shots as well.
Yeah, the extra mobility you get on this map's important, especially you can see how big this main atrium is.
Do you see how, yeah, they're still hogging that catwalk area, and we're coming up to our protection.
Yeah. Well, the other thing they're doing, actually, it looks like they're baiting CPM onto it, right? It's like they make them feel like they can get onto it, and then as CPM start to get in, they get smashed by Dan from behind.
Yeah, they're quite comfortable in this protection. Welcome surprise, and Steej picks it up. Sorry, it's Dan picking them up, and Steej picks it up.
I like Corvidae, you know, they saw last time they left it too late to get in and get set up. This time they're adapting, they're making sure they're in there first, getting that damage as they come through.
Nice finish off by Dan, and he picks up heavy, and it's still 122, 100, and he's healthy enough to try and
basically with this stack, you don't have to worry about dying when you have the protection.
Well, yeah, you just have to run in their face. Especially when you have a tournament under your ass.
Dan taking this fight 2v1. They have to make something out of this CPM. They just had a 2v1 situation, and they're actually going to lose out on it, just because Dan was able to delay long enough that Steej could get in there and help him out.
The Blood Covenant is definitely a Corvidae map. I'm sure
It's their best map. It's their best map by a mile, and they're better. Like, not only is it their best map, but no one else in Australia can even come close to it.
Yeah, and I'm surprised the CPM didn't ban it. But well, we have what we have, and we're looking at Steej blocking their opponents with the LG. He manages to finish off TheSpudHunter and pick up the Mega, and Python is coming on it. No, he's not. He decides to back away, knowing that.
Steej, he's caught in an awkward spot here. He could potentially get sandwiched, but the call isn't made from CPM to move in together.
Yeah, there was a good call from Python to Spud to come try and finish off Steej, but Steej landed enough with rockets and rails to be confident. And he's actually at 10 frags in a row without dying. So, oh, here we go, Spuddy, what are you doing here?
Yeah, it's hard to commit to the megas like that. You know, when you don't know the exact time, and someone like Steej can make that call. He knows. You know, he has that exact time in his head.
Yeah, and even then, they are 28-6, and Steej decides to suicide to not give away a free frag to their opponent with 5 HP left.
It was also maybe a timing thing with how that quad was coming up, making sure that he would get full stack to come back in there. But yeah, Steej, he's got the quad, he's got the heavy machine gun. Each machine gun tick here is going to do 60 damage. You know, you look at how big these HP pools are. You can do the maths on that one. Spud.
Too many 60s from Spud to manage. Yeah, it's just trying to find the opponents. It's a bit, you get less frags, fewer frags on like Covenant than, for example, Corrective here, because again, the map is so big.
Now, Python's actually swapped over to the BJ here as well, the counter BJ. And this is a good call, right? Steej is getting so much out of it. It gives them something to fight back against if Steej pops this ability when they don't want it. But importantly, you know, CPM have to actually be picking these engagements when they can pull out the dual wield to get an advantage.
Yeah, and also Doomslayer, he is a bit sluggish in his movement. Even though he has a double jump, like moving quickly around the map, sometimes you just press the double jump once and you end up hitting the ceilings, etc.
Well, and lots of people use the movement, the ultimate ability as a way to get away, but I just don't think it's actually that fast anymore. I think it got a little bit of a nerve a few patches ago, and it's not as effective as it used to be for getting out of situations.
Yeah, but is it not late? Or is it too late for them to capitalize on that?
Look, I don't think it's ever too late on this map, okay? If they got absolutely solid control and they played perfectly and controlled the top, they could win.
They could, but it's already halfway into the match, way more halfway into the breakdown.
When Steej can just ram through both of the entire enemy team, that's a great ability usage. You know, 2 frags for none, right? That's the kind of trade you want, and that's the kind of trade that Corvidae just keep managing to get time and time again.
Yeah.
How are they looking up there on stage, Ronnie?
Yeah, I'm just looking and they all... I can't see behind Spud's mask how he's looking. Maybe he's just raging or he's completely calm, but yeah, it's really...
This is something about the TheSpudHunter. He is a bit of a rager. He's apparently he's been cutting back on the swearing in comms, he told me yesterday.
Yeah, that's good enough. Thank you very much, Spud. 38-8 currently.
All right. The protection,
I don't think it's happening.
The protection out on Steej here. Again, he's controlling the top of the map.
I'm just gonna run into Python. Python manages to steal a kill on them, but here comes the dual wield, and Python, there's just nothing he can do.
I mean, Steej didn't even have to play that as cautiously as he did with all that HP behind him, but he comes out of this protection still with a good stack. He's back in time for this mega. He's going to get a massive catch here.
That was some flight time for Spuddy, but he didn't land at mid-air.
It was impressive. It was still impressive.
Yeah.
That mega's going to be sitting up, and it looks like CPM have actually won it here from Corvidae.
I'm not sure how long the Spy will survive.
Yeah, I don't know if he's actually going to get on it.
Oh no,
he actually doesn't.
Managed to land his rocket on it.
That mega's still up. So, I mean, CPM won that room like 20 seconds ago and still didn't have time to just go and get it. That's the kind of play from Corvidae.
Oh, that's
nice and
good nails versus the dual wield.
I would say Dandaking probably has the best nail gun in Australia as well. He just hits more than anyone should have any right to with it, so consistently.
He has a lot of best things in Australia.
Yeah. There's a reason he's Dandaking.
Yeah. Astro Boy became the Dandaking. That's a backstory with that. So it's 33-13, 30 frags lead, and 10 minutes, almost 10 minutes in. Oh, that's something. They finally managed to catch them, but it wasn't good enough again.
Ooh.
Oh, almost missed it. Rocket to the forehead.
Yeah,
we're moving on to our next squad.
I like the pressure from Spud there as he moved forward, right? He's moving through those pillars. He's making sure that he's in cover while he's spamming out those rockets and putting a lot of pressure down. But with this
Steej
squad
has
coming
his ability up, and he walks in and kills, just obliterates Python. Spud coming in for rescue, but no, it's just
and here we go. 3 frags left. Corvidae, they're certainly going to close it out.
Some good LG from Python, but again, and Spud is trying to set up a trap with LG, but as a rocket landed to their feet. And
either of those moves would have been great if we weren't 3 frags out from the close. And
okay,
here we go. This is
3 totems overkill. LG and Spud is down, and first map goes to Team Corvidae.
Everyone looking pretty chill on stage, actually. Corvidae, they're comfortable winning that. That didn't push them as much as they could have there. And CPM, yeah, they look pretty relaxed.
Yeah, I think there's one word that you might use to characterize that, and that is dominance. Just have a look at the scoreboard there, 50-14.
Yeah, that's the best map of Corvidae. I'm very keen to see how they're gonna play Corrupted Keep, because that's the best map of Team CPM.
So did we expect it to be that one-sided?
On Blood Covenant, yeah, pretty much.
I expected them to ban it, to veto it, but they didn't.
Maybe there's a reason why you expected them to veto it. But anyway, I guess Corvidae coming in, showing us their dominance. Look, again, I'm not a huge Quake person in that I haven't watched so much competitive Quake in the Australian region, but one team that I do hear a lot about is, of course, Corvidae. And I think this has kind of shown me the reason why.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're so, like, the only team that can really challenge them in tournaments and stuff has been Cooked traditionally, or some iteration of ZenAku plus someone else.
Yes.
That's why you guys talk about that trio of players, right?
Yeah, it's actually been really hard, right? Like, Corvidae got the good deal. They got the good split here.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, I guess need somebody else to step up there and maybe make it 4 top players in the region. But so far, so good for Corvidae. Look, to be honest, for me, that didn't seem very close at all. Was that, like, mechanically the problem then there for contents per minute, or was it just strategically they were getting completely outplayed by Corvidae?
I think it all comes down to good railgun on this map, good railgun control and catwalk control, because that's the area where you need to walk through to actually get the gun first of all. And, well, obviously the power-up plays, they look pretty strong.
Yeah, CPM made a good power-up play in the first, for the first power-up, but after that, Corvidae figured out what they wanted to do when they just had their number.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so pretty much from the start of things, Corvidae was dictating it. But you guys have said, CPM, this next map coming up for them is going to be their quote-unquote best map. Is there a bit of a chance now for them to come back into this? Or, like, because if I had to make a prediction, right, again, I'm very uninformed, just seen one map, you got to say Corvidae looks like they should get a 2-0 just off that.
They've got a really big advantage. But I mean, CPM, like, they've got Python, and Python is this absolute legend of the game. There's a lot he can do. A map like Corrupted Keep suits him so well. You know, I know the TheSpudHunter's been putting a lot of time into the game, a lot of time into the grind. He wants this. He wants to prove himself on the stage here.
And another reason why they are good at Corrupted versus Corvidae, because Corrupted Keep has no rail, and Corvidae are really good at railgun. So, I'm interested about the champion picks. Definitely we're going to see Galena from, I think, TheSpudHunter. I'm not sure who Python's going to play as, because maybe Strog.
I would love to see the Strog from Python. Strog on Corrupted Keep makes the most sense. He's got a really powerful passive ability where he gains HP from getting kills.
All right, guys, into the second map now. Do or die for CPM. They need to win this one. Otherwise, they're knocked down into that lower bracket. So I'll leave it to you.
Python is sent flying
Breaks
down.
your heart to see that.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking to begin with. Python actually decided to go with BJ instead of Strog.
Yeah, and I mean, this is safe. They've gone for the mirror matchup. You know, you can't get any more stable than that.
Yeah, BJ is really strong on this map again because LG is so crucial to have on this map and control the power up.
Beautiful read there, beautiful use of the melee weapon. And I mean, these mirror matchups are actually something favored by Team Liquid, who are like the best 2v2 team in the world.
Yeah.
They like to play these mirror matchups just because there's no room for funny business in there. So I think this is good from both teams.
There's no room for anything on Corrupted Keep. It's just so small.
Yeah, you're just constantly shoved into each other's space. You get so much utility out of the BJ ability.
That's some double LG from Python.
Yeah, the problem is that Spud couldn't quite get into a position to support him there. So it was a bit of an odd fight. But already you can see, I mean, these frags exploding onto the scoreboard, and CPM much closer in this. They've almost gotten as many frags on this map as they did in the entire last
unfortunately
map.
Python fell off the map to begin with and kind of slipped them out of it.
Yeah, that is a negative one.
Yeah.
Nice position for Steej here. He gets so much with that heavy machine gun.
From that heavy machine gun, yeah. And it's half a minute, 30 seconds up until the first quad. It will be very important to see whether CPM can catch up.
Python tries to push into mid-map off the spawn there, and he does it completely unsupported. And that's the kind of play, I think, that's really going to cost them frags here, because Corvidae, they know how to respond to that. Like, they know how to punish bad pushes into mid.
Oh, nice mid-air by Spud, almost finishing them off, then the kick was not enough. Yeah.
All right, quad coming up. It is actually CPM positioned in mid. And are we going to see a repeat of last map?
Steej is coming in with the ability up. And Python conveniently hit
Here we go. This is the
Python area.
This is the Python run I need to see. Okay, Python is one of my favorite players, and unfortunately,
he was just a second too early for the Mega.
Less than a second. That Mega was like microseconds away. That's unfortunate for them.
Yeah, it is. Now then, he says machine gun has LG, just a bit of health. Yeah, will he manage to get some? Oh, SpudHunter walks into the mine.
Yeah, and those totems do 4 times the damage as well while that quad's up. So
that's 300 into your face. Not good, not good.
Not going to survive that one in a hurry. So one of the things I love when people watch Quake Champions, you know, maybe people in the audience who haven't watched much of the game, seeing this Galena play, because people, you know, you've got this healing totem ability.
He had 2 totems up and all.
It does so much, yeah. But seeing how this healing totem ability in a game like Quake actually becomes something so aggressive and so like offensive, you know. Beautiful rocket placement there for Python.
Python has originally very strong rockets, and he's so calm in his aim. No flicks, no, just smooth moving across the air. And there you go.
I love it.
Well done.
That's what we want to see from Python. That's what we need to see from Python here.
Yeah. Still, it's 22 to 11. He has his ability up. Use it, maybe.
Nice.
He's probably saving it for the power up.
Yeah, he might be able to if he controlled all the egg timers, but there's no guarantee for that, so he's just going to play it safe.
Oh, Spud.
It's actually, you don't see so many totem frags usually in high-level games on this map, but I think these guys are just putting so much pressure down, and control of that top area has swapped so many times now that even these guys are struggling to keep up with it.
All right, 10 seconds, 5 seconds. We'll see if Python's going to use his ability.
Spud was so low.
Oh, yes, and he did. And he won it. 6, he's really 50 HP left, but he manages to pick up the
What I actually think CPM did there, I think they actually did a bait. I think they knew Spud was weak.
Spud.
They set him up, he sent the totem out just to delay, and then Python was able to get in. That was really, really smart. And again, like CPM actually adapting to how Corvidae set up for that first quad, because they knew that they played up high. And that makes a lot of sense for Corvidae to try and play like that. It plays to a lot of their strengths.
Yeah, they did. Corvidae did a really good job at hiding from Python. It didn't really score any frags over there.
Lovely. This is great from CPM here. They're pulling out some really great combat skills and some great team combat skills.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if that, again, was enough frags for them to kind of get closer to Corvidae.
Yeah, well, the journey certainly isn't over yet. There's no easy ride against Corvidae from here, and I mean, still being at a deficit, especially. All right, this heavy armor.
Yeah, waiting for heavy armor there. And Team CPM just sticking out to the LG area. Up. How about dual LG? Yes, yes. Yes. That worked. At least 50% of that worked.
Yeah. I love that catch too, because it's like they came from their item and realized that CPM were in that corner and could be pushed, you know. When you know your opponent's stuck in a little corner like that in Quake, being able to push in like that, get those frags, it's absolutely crucial. And going 2 for none in these situations yet again.
Yeah, and did you notice how Steej deliberately avoided Mega to try to come to the area where the opponents are? Just walked past it and he saw it, and he still decided not to take it, but rather run. Right, we're up to our next squad, and Steej is looking strong, just staying on top. Will he be overcome? Pops the ability up, and yes.
Oh, what?
Then just dives.
Fortunately, that totem gets down actually from Dan to Steej there.
Yeah. Steej knew the time exactly for the heavy armor.
And that's a lovely spawn for Dan to get. He takes a great route there, gets himself the nail gun, gets back onto it.
Some great movement out of that window to advance quickly throughout the map. A couple more frags. Spice trying to lead the trap with the tribal. And LG, no, Steej is still very healthy. He actually manages to step on that totem. Still survives. 37 to 17. Oh,
yeah.
Phylum. This is not looking good.
We had such high hopes for CPM. Look, they're here. They put up a fight, okay? They're giving it their all right now.
They still are putting up a fight, and I know, and I can see they're doing the best. Looking at them, they're very focused. Python's looking really relaxed. But what can you do about the crazy LG and crazy shotguns?
Yeah, this really is a case of just getting outclassed right now.
Oh, nice there. And another one, almost. Says BJ and wins that fight.
The best sound clip in the game.
Yeah, definitely.
The BJ
far.
screams.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, we've got another protection coming up.
Yeah.
Steej just utilizing that rocket launcher to make sure he has a nice vertical advantage here and all the guns.
Hits 10 seconds to his ability. Python already has everything up and ready to go. Kevy's coming up right before the quad. Inner shoddy, but Steej.
How does Steej get that double frag
He just
there?
does it. He doesn't think about it. He just does it.
Oh! So many totem frags this game. I think Steej slipped on a banana peel or something there. Spud wins mid-map. He's not going to be able to win the power-up completely though, surely.
5
Steej
HP
getting
left
in
and Spud finishes off.
All right, 4 more frags here.
Yeah, I think.
How much can CPM do? I mean, it's actually impossible to go for however many minutes it would take for CPM to get these 28 frags, 27 frags,
definitely,
without Corvidae
definitely
getting
3 of them at least won't going to be next turn. So. Spud's trying to stay with his totem, but this is not going to work.
Yeah, here we go on Dan. We haven't seen too much of Dan actually. It's kind of been the Steej frag movie.
Certainly was. Dan is. We're going to witness the final frag by Dan, I guess. Steej just died.
Yeah,
but he's just waiting. Come at me, guys.
He's setting up the trap. He knows they're going to want to fight him eventually.
Steej is in the middle of combat over there, trying to get those 15s.
Here comes Dan, the OG.
Spud decides to suicide, rightfully so.
That is another strategy, yeah.
Oh, and totem.
Oh, great teamwork from that. Well, that was a direct rocket in midair from Python to support that.
Up. And Corvidae advances to the next round, beating CPM 2-0. Quite impressive, quite impressive.
Really, really good play from Corvidae. They were flawless.
Quite impressive, quite convincing as well. I love what you said about the Steej frag movie there, because that's really what it felt like for the majority of that. 14 deaths, 27 kills, no worries.
Yeah, they're pretty even on frags, but yeah, Steej took down a lot of.
I think watching that for me, like the thing to take away was just the aggression from Corvidae in a way. It just seemed like Steej wanted to run at them with the LG and just take every single fight that he could.
Yep, anytime they knew they could get into a position where they were supporting each other and Steej had that ability up, they would just go. Yeah. They didn't even think about it. They didn't even have to think about it.
They know they have better aim, and that's why they go.
Yeah, they're not afraid to abuse it.
That's your frag movie over there.
Yeah. Are all these highlights going to be Steej, you think?
Well, there's one from Dandaking, I guess, but the question is how many of them are going to be Steej? Yeah, we'll have to find out as we do have a look through here. But I think mechanically speaking, just watching Corvidae there, they seem to be on another level to me. You know, just as far as the aim and the tracking is concerned, the LGs there were insane.
Yeah, these guys put a lot of work into it. All of them have good LG, right? It's a really hard gun to use. I think people underestimate it. And lots of people who are coming into Quake are like, why does everyone just use LG?
Yeah, because it's most effective. And not to undermine the CPM efforts, but they originally decided to play in this qualifiers leading to this tourney. It's just a prank, just some fun.
Yeah,
let's just play some games.
They were an accidental team.
Yeah, it's still working out for them. We'll see how they perform in the next round leading up.
Yeah, speaking of the next round, that is going to be the upper bracket final. So we're going to see Corvidae, we're going to see Cooked up against each other. But I think it's time now for us to head back down to the stage. Miles is ready for an interview with our winners.
Thank you, boys, indeed. Right. It's safe to say you're both looking pretty strong, fellas. All right, Dan, we'll start with you real quick. How did that go down? I mean, obviously, it was quite a dominant display. Excuse me, I'm tongue-tied over in front of in the face of a legend. A dominant display. How are you guys feeling after that?
Oh, pretty good. Like, obviously, we won convincingly, but you can never take that. Like, you can't take it easy on your next opponent. So obviously, we know we played well. We played at the standard we expect, and our next opponent, obviously, we're going to come bring the same A game and just try and do the same thing.
Sounds good to me. Steej, you were running what we were calling a highlight reel throughout most of that match. I mean, obviously, you're pretty confident right now. You're feeling good. You've got winners bracket final up next. Where's your head at right now?
No, I'm feeling good. It's probably the most comfortable I felt at LAN in terms of the setup. So I'm hitting my shots. I'm feeling good. I still feel like I could play a bit better, actually. So I'm keen for the next games.
God have mercy on their souls. Right, boys, that'll be all from here on the stage. Take your seats, have a bit of a break, and best of luck in that winners bracket final coming up next. Ladies and germs, we've still got a whole more Quake to give you, but we're going to have a quick break. When we come back, the winners bracket finals.
Try to pick up their opponents. One of them will be railing, and one of them will be finishing them off just as easily. And we are moving close to our power-up. There's going to be a brief fight on the heavy amplitude.
I like Corvidae, you know, they saw last time they left it too late to get in and get set up. This time they're adapting, they're making sure they're in there first, getting that damage as they come through.
Nice finish off by them. And he's actually
pressure from Spud there as he moved forward, right? He's moving through those pillars. He's making sure that
he's so calm and he's at no flinks. No, just moving across there. Oh. And there you go. Corvidae did a really good job at hiding the white. He didn't really score any frags over there. He's looking strong, just staying on top. Will she be overcome?
You're watching the ESL stage.